Holy phone way. There we go. There we go. They scared to come outside. Tell them boys they better pray. Tell them boys stay out the way. Kitty! Fuck us up! Oh, man. Okay, I agree. If I'm gonna be hollering, I definitely need to put a disclaimer out there, right? Hey, Wildflower. Hey, Mandy. Good, lovely to see you two ladies. Mandy, see, I appreciate you. I really do, sweetheart. You came over and you have been just an awesome addition to what we already had going on over here, so. What's up, Haunted? Q is my favorite uncle. That's my homegirl, right? So she's put out some information about yeah, smash that like. Hey, honest, yo, what's up, Ghost? You're welcome, lovely. So Q is my favorite uncle. BVK, what's up, bro? Ma'am? Sorry. Q is my favorite uncle. I mean, I just had no idea. Like, I'm just dealing, I'm trying to navigate the terrain that we're, you know, currently faced with, right? Like everybody else. So, let me see, how do I fix that? Hold the phone, hold the phone, hold the phone. Well, we'll be making a turn here in a minute. So, Chris in the Michael Crow case put 3 boys in jail. Now, we have, all right. So, 7 months, they're gonna get me arrested for telling people I'm gonna punch them in the nose online. Like, man, come on. If I tell another grown man I'm gonna punch him in the face when I see him, if I ever run into him in my life's travels, man, go ahead and call the police, man. I'm ready for that, bro. Right? Like, man, you're stupid. Anyways, got another situation with Richard Ricci. I'm not entirely sure that Chris has ever put any fucking one in jail. Has stayed, right? Oh, yeah, Ernie. Yeah, so let me tell you about Ernie. I called the Cosby Police, which is Cobb County. Right? I talked to a Captain Bob Shaft, and I called him last Friday, and Bob called me back yesterday morning, and he says, "What can I do you for, sir?" I didn't tell him while I was calling. So he calls me and I say, "Yeah, I'm calling about Ernie Shell." And he said, "Oh, shit." He didn't say shit, but he was like, "Doggone, what has Ernie done now?" And I said, "Well, you got an email that I can forward you a lot of stuff." He was like, "Yeah." So he gave me his email. And after we got done talking, I emailed him all the applicable stuff that I have. And I told him, I was quite frank. I said, "You know, Mr. Shaft, I was pretty certain that everything that I was being sent in the initial beginning phase about Mr. Shell was just public information, right? Wasn't anything special." Then the special shit started coming in. Well, let me backtrack. I also asked Captain Shaft if he was aware of Tina Simmerly, and he said, "Oh, yeah, we've had a long history with both of these two." And I said, "Well, okay." He said, well, then I said, "Were you aware of where Ernie Shell was on January 6th, 2021? He said, "No, I wasn't." "Do you know where he was?" I said, "I sure do." I said he was with his 3%er militia pals up on the fucking Capitol Hill storming the building. He said, really? I said, yeah. He said, well, then that would make sense as to why Homeland Security been in our office over and fucking over. I said, yeah, I think that probably would. That would do it, wouldn't it? So, old Ernie, he's got some issues with the Homeland Security. So, that's that. Now, I addressed Mr. McDonough last night. Guys, he made paid $25 to go over on AB's channel and tell people to call the police on me. Man, you better hurry up and call them fucking police is what I know. Get that shit handled, man, so you can stop talking about it. Because can you imagine what a call from Chris McDonough to the Plano police would sound like? Plano police, how can I help you? My name is Chris McDonough. You already know who I am, right? Well, no, sir. We're not fucking familiar with you. Oh, okay. Well, I'm the guy that fucked up the Michael Crow case. Oh, yes, sir. We know exactly who you are. Okay, great. You knew I was going to be calling, right? Actually, sir, no, we didn't, but we're happy to help you. How can we help you? Well, as you know, I fucked up the Stephanie Crow case, and then I fucked up the Elizabeth Smart case, and now I'm fucking up the Don Wells case and the Summer Wells case, and you got a guy that lives in your town, and he's really just hurt my feelings by exposing me and all the foul shit I've done online. Can you please go over there and politely ask him to fucking stop harassing me online by pointing out the things that I've done ever so wrong, right? Oh, and another thing, like, I'm just really ass hurt, right? Like Mr. Benny has clearly had quite an extensive history with the police, and so he knows my fucking game far too well. If you would have kept him locked up on the other side, he would have never figured me out. But guess what? He has. You want to know what, Chris? I've dealt with lousy, fucking dirty, foul fucking cops like you my whole life. Let me tell you what, sir. Your interest in justice has always been curved by monetization, right? Now, let me tell you this. Did you know that real Texas gentleman you hear assisting Mr. McDonough while they are just fucking abusing Michael Crow? I mean, they are fucking child abusing him, right? So that fucking idiot that was the co-pilot on the fuckery with the fucking Michael fucking Crow shit, guess what happened to him? He got transferred for all that shit. Did you know that? Yeah. The man that helped Chris M do all that fuckery, he got fired. And he got transferred. Where the fuck you suppose he got transferred to? Plano police. Where I live at. So I'm going to go up to the Plano Police Department today. And I'm going to speak with, only as a side little hustle, because I think that I really do set up all the bullshit with the 17-year-old girl from the UK. Now, I would assume that he chose a girl from the UK because there would be some sort of issue with the jurisdiction. I do believe this gentleman has handled and prepared photographs of a minor, which is not good. Now, I received information last night that Chris M is actually an FBI plant, right? Now, to the person that told me that, that person knows I respect their opinion and I respect what they tell me like a motherfucker. Like, seriously, like, I take it from them like I would take it from my mom, right? But I'll tell you this, there just ain't no fucking way. There is just no fucking way Chris M is an FBI plant. There's just no fucking way. You know, I affectionately agree to disagree on that one. Chris M is not an FBI plant. That's what I'm going to say publicly, right? Now, privately, I he an FBI plant, right? Because he has absolutely no interest in making sure that this gets resolved on a state level, right? He has fucked it up for anybody in the state of Tennessee or Hawkins County to play a part in, this thing if it goes to a criminal phase, right? So you start to ask yourself, level does Mr. McDonough think he's playing on? Now, I'll tell you this, for someone who comes straight to the YouTube and wants to handle these fucking investigations on the YouTube, he ain't fucking tied in with nobody, because if he was tied in with somebody, guess what he'd be doing? That's what the fuck Chris would be doing. So I was told by another person that they thought that he was inserted to potentially be watching for people that stormed the Capitol. I believe that could be in the realm of shit that the fucking FBI would waste money on and send a dumbass like Chris McDonough's fucking slow ass, right? Like, I don't know. You just never know what kind of shit the FBI is going to waste our taxpayer dollars on. Fucking around with an idiot like Chris, right? So let me tell you this. Chris doesn't know any better, guys. Chris doesn't know any better, right? Like, I am convinced that they just allowed him to keep fucking around being a cop because he had something on the rest of them, right? You don't let a cop, guess what? When you try to draft a ball player and he's cost some other team $7.6 million, he's not a real viable draft option. You let that one pass by, right? So I'm assuming that Chris M is doing the same kind of shit on YouTube that he did to his partners in real life, right? He got dirt on them because we know fucking put police corruption in and you'll get a brand new fucking story from yesterday or today about police corruption, right? So I'm almost fully convinced that Chris had something on the other detectives and the other personnel, the top brass, if you will, in Escondido. So, I'm literally convinced, guys, because the only reason you keep letting an idiot like him play is for two reasons. Either he can tell on you real good or he owns the ball, right? So when he's done playing, Chris M is just going to take his ball home. Now, Chris, what I'll tell you, sir, is this. You are not as widely and highly regarded as you want us all to believe. If you guys, I actually reached out to a gentleman named Stan. Stan knows Chris really well. And Stan is almost ready to come on my show and talk about exactly what the fuck Chris did, right? So Stan owns a company called Truth and Deception, and he is widely renowned as an expert in interrogation tactics, right? So, hey, Vivian. Have a good day. So that's where we're at, guys. If you want to make a spectacle
out of something in someone's life, you hire Chris, right? If you need a tire changed, you go to the fucking tire guy. If you need fishing line, you go to the fishing line guy. If you need a false confession, you go to Chris M. Guess what, guys? Now here in the 2020s, we don't necessarily prefer false confessions. We don't prefer egregious, awful, child abusive tactics when breaking the laws, sir. So Chris got what's called qualified immunity for that case, right? The Michael Crow case. What that means is that a judge made a ruling that no that no reasonable detective would know what the 14th what was held in the 14th Amendment. Now, what I tell you guys, Derek Chauvin also was going to get a qualified immunity. What happened was we had a strong push and pressure from the public, and they went ahead and they brought charges, right? So what we actually do know is that Chris M. has been accused of child abuse in the Michael Crow case. And this was actually based upon the words and the statements of a really good interrogation expert. He said, this is egregious. This is the most awful. Go look at my last video, guys. This is the most awful interrogation I've ever seen. So now we've got Chris online showing all of these fake pictures that he prefaced everyone. Oh, I think they're mocked up. And if they're mocked up and I'm here showing them, well, then shame on you. Never shame on me, right? So Chris has a very, very nasty past of abusing children. Look what he did to Michael Crow. And look what he's doing to Summer Wells. Let me tell you this. He also played a part in damaging Elizabeth Smart as well. Okay, guys? Hey, Four Seasons. Good to see you, lovey. Now, Chris McDonough, I am not an expert to call Chris McDonough a fucking child abuser in any form or fashion. What I can do is regurgitate the fucking statements of real experts that say he is a child abuser. He has abused Summer. Even in her absence, he's abused her. Now, again, what you're seeing from Mr. McDonough, let me tell you about this. I was told that Chris McDonough had some really fugazi thing that was called the Wall of Honor. And on this Wall of Honor, he put other content creators, so on and so forth. So, Aryan Brotherhood, AB, he was put on the Wall of Honor. And then, subsequently, a few days ago, he was removed from the Wall of Honor. So, this should be good, since we know that AB isn't worth a bent dick. So, this ought to be really interesting. What I will tell you, though, yes, Dee Dee, it was a disgusting display. So what Chris did was he completely manipulated and manufactured and inserted shit into this boy's brain using a method called the Reed method. The Reed method plays on your, first what it does is it's an accusatory style. So we see that in Chris M, right? He's still performing the Reed method. And guys, it is outlawed. It is outlawed to continue using the fucking interrogation method that he's using. Now, guys, I know you all have seen the new name on the new channel. My channel now is called The Interrogation Room with Benny Keys. Okay. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of people that aren't happy with that because I didn't go with the suggested names, but I thought, well, fuck it. I interview people. He interrogates people. He called his channel Interview, which is what I do. So I'm going to call my channel The Interrogation Room because that's what he does, right? So what he's done. Now, I do want to make a statement, guys. And it is about the stuff, the normative sex behavior, right? That was the object of much chagrin over on Prairie's channel. Now, what I want to explain to you is that I think that we're all pretty fairly equally yoked on the idea that Don could potentially be a tad bit slow, right? So, being that Don probably has some learning delays and probably is not operating on the actual level of year that he is old. So I'm only speculating, but one could start to speculate that a 12-year-old that is involved in some distasteful SA type stuff, yes, now his physical age may have been 12 years old, although it's very plausible that he was operating on a childhood level much lower than 12 years old, right? So if he was operating on, let's say, if he's 12 and he's operating on the intelligence level of an 8 or 9-year-old, well, then you can start to see why, in his mind, maybe it was one thing or the other, right? So, now what's also equally as interesting is that Chris has made all of these new ladies, has made them public. You guys ever seen a sexual assault trial where they refer to the woman as Jane Doe 1, Jane Doe 2, Jane Doe 7, 8? Right? Yeah. So there's a lot of contributing factors. We talked about neurodiversity. Neurodiversity is, it's so ever prevalent in these situations, right? You've got a scenario where you're trying to hold someone to, again, I'm not sympathizing with any sexual assaults. What I'm doing is merely pointing out that people could be operating on, a scholastic level, an intelligence level that is far below their years of actual age. So, you really have to start taking into an account the atypical individual, right? So I would say that a lot of the people on YouTube that comment dumbass shit, they're not even typical thinkers. They would fall into the atypical department. Now, there's two types of atypical. You have your atypical that is above and beyond what you're trying to impose upon them. And then you have the atypical that is below, right? Typical is just right across the board. It is the middle-class income family. The most citizens of one accord is what typical means, right? So we know that you can't run typical interrogation tactics on people that are extremely intelligent. You just can't. They're atypical thinkers. You also can't run the same interrogation tactics on people that, are slow or have developmental delays because they are atypical. They're atypical in the fact that they do not think typically, right? So, thicky nicky. Right, yeah, no, slow is just the word that I use for developmental delay. So there is a lot of determining factors that could come into play as to the situations of the essays as a youngster, right? So no, I do not support essay of any sort. If I did, then I'd be involved in it, right? That's what people say. Oh, you're a pedo, whatever. you're saving the pedo. You're a pedo sympathizer. If I was a pedo sympathizer, I'd be a pedo myself, right? So quit that shit, you fucking idiots. You fucking idiots weren't even aware there was such a thing as normative sex behavior, correct? So anyways, guys, I'm going to spend today working on a few things that Sharon and I got coming up, and Mr. Mark and Cam and Allie. But in the meantime, in between time, what I'm doing is I'm going to be building a dossier on Mr. McDonough. Mr. McDonough is a real piece of reptile shit. In fact, he thinks he can just move his trailer from locale to locale and that will shed his skin like a reptile. No, sir, it does not. You need a swift kick in the back of your drawers, sir. Anyways, remember, guys, I'll be on here in a little bit. Remember, guys, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Thank you, Q. Colum Dumbo. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, Magnum PI. No, I think he's looking like he's more from fucking Gunsmoke, eh? I love all you guys individually. Remember, guys, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. If you've got something you want to say to Chris, just run right over there and say it to him. I love all of y'all. I'll catch up with you here later on this morning, guys. Love y'all. Have a great day, and I'll see you in about an hour, hour and a half. Bye.